myself up to this. But then what does that mean for down the line when, I went to school for 2 years and really want to like kick off my career in a meaningful way.
Brianne, you mentioned like there's basically like you just can't control any facet of your life now. And I think that's something that we all embrace as a theory in our relationships. Like, we're going to go with the flow. Like, if we like someone, especially if we marry them, like, we're going to figure this out together.
Hey, thanks for listening to UC3P, the main page. We know you're enjoying this episode, and we really want to get you back to it as soon as possible. The problem is, if you're listening to this, there's a really good chance you haven't subscribed to the show yet. Don't worry, that's super easy to fix. Just go on your phone, pick your favorite podcast app, and type in UC3P or the main page. It's easy to subscribe, and we know you don't want to miss any more episodes. Again, type in UC3P or the main page and subscribe. Now go tell a friend.
I guess, do you think quarantine has made anything easier about your relationship? I know we've talked a lot about the strangeness, but has anything been easier than you would have expected or along the positive side?
I think for me, like in terms of working from home, I know that's like a polarizing conversation. And for me, I love it. Like, the biggest gripe I have about what I do is that it takes away so much time from us, like from Jenish and myself. There's so many times I'll come home at 10 p.m. and it's like he's already made dinner, but then he's like doing other stuff and then we have to go to bed soon. So I will say it's made like this seemingly, I'm like using air quotes here, work-life balance. That's felt easier. Like striking that balance to me has felt easier in quarantine.
And is there anything for you that felt easier?
Just having the small moments of the day where you just have like fun with each other has been incredibly easy. When Reema's at work all day and I'm home, there are obviously like so many small little things that come up in the day that you just want to tell your closest friend or partner to, like, that's the small story. And I can actually do that now. Just be like, hey, like I just had this crazy ass thought, right? Like for a second, I can tell her that during her 5-minute break that she has.
Brianne.
It's a little bit similar to what Reema and Jenish said. I just feel like it's been so much easier to not overthink things. It just doesn't help. So it almost forces you to just kind of like sit back and exist, which has made, I think, getting to know the person that I'm seeing so much easier, and also just like almost get to know myself again in the context of relationships. Because as I mentioned earlier, like a really serious relationship of mine had ended last year, and I kind of went into a tailspin over it where I had to like refigure out kind of how do I approach dating and relationships and who am I in those contexts. And so now that I can't navel gaze, I guess, to a ridiculous extent, which you think I would do more of because we have the time to do it. But if anything, I really
navel gaze.
Exactly. But now I've just really leaned into kind of letting things be what they are, and I don't know, it's offered a real silver lining for quarantine. I know that, Reema and I have talked about how privileged we feel to have some benefits of, having to stay home and seeing the world slow down. But I would say that it's absolutely true, especially when it comes to the relationship side of things.
Is there anything you think you've learned about yourself in terms of how you function in a relationship or what you're looking for out of a relationship, whether that's long-term or short-term, because of the quarantine situation?
I think, and this pains me to admit it because my mom would be thrilled. I think I've had to accept that I think I want to slow down and maybe settle down a little bit more than I thought I would. I've been super career oriented for the last 5 years, especially in school, and kind of, achieving my dreams, for lack of a less cheesy phrase. But I've really enjoyed not working, again, because I have the resources to do that, and also because school and everything. But just getting to like spend time with someone and cook and hang out and not kind of be constantly on deadline or worried about prestige or things like that has been so nice and such an unexpected relief, to the point where I'm like, oh crap, do I have to reevaluate the things that I thought I wanted before? It's making it really tricky.
Jenish and Reema, I think you guys have learned about yourselves, whether it's in a relationship or otherwise.
I think I've learned how to be a better roommate as part of this relationship. This is going to sound super weird, but this past year and a few months that we've been married, and we were living a normal life where Reema is going to work for, at least 8 hours a day and coming home, I treated that very similarly to how my relationship was growing up with my parents, in that, okay, parents are gone, and let's say it's summer break, and I have been home all day doing whatever it is, and they're coming home, so let me quickly clean up my entire mess that I've made the whole day.
Incredible, Reema.
Learning how to be a good roommate, I think, is a good way to put it. I think for me, I brought this up to Brianne many times too. I'm this person who's like almost so present-minded that like unless it's affecting my day-to-day, I like really tune out the surrounding parts of my life. Like sometimes I can lose touch with my friends for like months or so. And when I reconnect, it doesn't feel that bad, but it's like, oh my God, I just didn't talk to you for like a month or two. So I think I'm like taking in like, yeah, there's some issues with the ways I have relationships with my friends or my family. I think I'm just having to like accept things that I didn't want to accept about myself. And then I'm trying to like take this time to reverse it where I feel like I should.
So sort of as a last question, do you guys have any interesting or funny stories around how COVID has either changed your life or sort of like, wow, of course this would happen to me or us during this quarantine time? Anything that was particularly interesting?
I've just learned that I am pretty bad at multitasking, and as I work from home, I'm very used to just tuning in to what I'm doing. I'll often just be sitting here, and then I'll just forget that Reema's in the house, and she'll come up to me while I'm in like the middle of a call and just ask me a simple question like, "Do you want butter or peanut butter on your toast?" And I'll just like stare at her, like, "What are you even asking me right now?" and I have to like just reorient myself to what's happening. So that something like that happens like every day so far.
I guess mine would be my recent obsession, I'll call it, with Facebook Marketplace. I will involuntarily like just look down at my phone and realize like I've just been like scrolling through Facebook Marketplace. And like I'm like seriously addicted to it. And it's been awesome because there's this thrill of just being able to sell stuff. And then again, with our home, feel like we're still making progress because I'm still like procuring things that I wanted when stores closed. So I never thought, I was like on the verge of deleting Facebook right before, and like now I would not dare.
For me, again, everything feels so boring nowadays. So it's like, what interesting stories could I possibly have? Because all I ever do is see my friends over the computer. But I would say one interesting thing has been, so I don't have a car. So if I want to go anywhere that is not immediately like in walkable distance, I have to Uber. And that has been a really interesting thing over the course of quarantine, obviously. Not only are there fewer cars on the road, but I would say the conversations I've had with Uber drivers have been a little bit deeper. And granted, like it all depends on their mood and stuff, but I've heard about, girlfriends passing away and finding out on Facebook, and we've talked about death planning because of it. I've had, a man have me try to guess his nationality and then have a whole conversation about immigration. Just the appetite for talking to people about things that are more than just surface level and more than just like, oh, how are you handling COVID, has been something I've really made an effort to do and have found in some weird places. So I don't know.
Thank you guys all for your time and for your consideration. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks for listening to anyone who's listening right now. My name is Arjun Motta again, and this is Naked Love.
And that's a wrap on another episode of UC3P. Credits go to Arjun Motta for producing, engineering, interviewing, and editing. Our assistant production managers are Arjun Motta, Olu Ogidan, Samia Karun, and Siddhant Modera. Our finance director is Donovan Harvey. Our publisher is Yaning Wang. Communications assistance came from Jordan Mahome. Our intro music is Knockout 2 by Ditubi, and our outro music is Yes Yes Y'all by Matt Large. Our cover art was designed by Shirin Raban. If you want to hear more podcasts, check out our website, uc3p.org. And if you want to contact us, our email is the uc3p@gmail.com. Please remember to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you. My name is David Raban, and stay tuned. We'll be back next week to talk about immigration on our brand new miniseries. Policy Jam.
I'm like, oh crap, it's like 5 and she's on her way home and I didn't do something. And so I just think now that she's here, I'm just learning to really be a better roommate.
I think I'm a little bit the same, because I guess in that story, I was the one inciting the fear. So I'm learning how to, again, patience is like the theme of my conversation here.